Hi, welcome to Foltz Fine Art. My name is Sarah Foltz, and I would like to welcome you to our new exhibition, Texas Emerging, Volume 1, co-curated with artist Jonathan Paul Jackson.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Paul Jackson. As Sarah said, I'm co-curator of Texas Emerging.
In this first volume of Texas Emerging, the caliber of artists' works combine with their innate sense of altruism towards fellow artists and within the greater art community that link these artists together. Ronald L Jones was born in 1983 and grew up down on the coast in Bay City. He's been an integral part of the Houston art scene for the past decade. A Room with a View, a site-specific sculpture that utilizes a color palette reminiscent of the late 1980s culture to symbolize the cavernous environment of childhood and early adolescent trauma and how they sculpt individuals. The installation serves as a figurative manifestation of the artist's mind, a gateway which makes the individual's trauma visible within the context of the gallery space and exhibition.
I first approached Ronald L Jones' work in a public park about 3.5 years ago. I was instantly fascinated. I was curious to know who had the intensity to do a string installation in a public park, knowing that it might rain or the wind might take it away. Those types of artists are artists I'm infatuated with, so I had to find him.
Matt Manalo was born in 1984 in the Philippines, grew up in Houston, attending U of H Fine Art. He is a first-generation immigrant, and a lot of his work explores the concept of home between time in Texas and in the Philippines. He is a multidisciplinary artist, incorporating painting, drawing, sculpture, photography, printmaking into his works. He's also the founder of the Philippine X Artists of Houston, which is an artist collective here, and he runs the A-Leaf Art House.
I first met Matt probably about 7 years ago and have been curating shows with him ever since. Matt's contribution to this art community has been far beyond anything I can contribute with the addition to the A-Leaf Art House, where he displays emerging artists from the area.
Next, we're going to be taking a look at work by Theresa Escobedo, who was born in 1985 in Houston. She's a graduate of U of H and a multidisciplinary artist, curator, and art administrator. Currently, she's managing the Civic Art Collection for the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. In her artwork, there's an intersection of ancestry, history, spiritualism in relation to ideas of place, land, nature, and the act of pilgrimage.
Theresa's work talks about an idea of spiritualism that I had never really touched on before. I feel every time I talk with Theresa or look at her work, I feel I get a little bit more educated on the Spanish influence and history. I get along with that type of work because I also have a series of work where I use African sculpture as the main focal point to talk about what it means to be African American.
Okay, next we're going to be looking at works by Tom Bandage, who was born in 1992 in Austin and recently relocated to Houston. He is an incredible sculptor, but his background is in computer science and studio art, which makes perfect sense once you start looking at the geometric detail and precision that is used to create his works. He really attempts to create the shape of thought through his geometric contortions of materials.
I met Tom Bandage 4 years ago at a warehouse he ran with another friend, but I had a show at this warehouse, and the organizer of the show was kind of dropping the ball, and Tom stepped in with his group, and they pretty much got the show up and ready for me. And seeing that kind of determination was really inspiring, mainly because that was the first time we had met. We had no personal contact beforehand.
Next, we're going to take a look at works by Duel, who is a well-known Houston-based street artist who got his BFA from University of Houston. You're immediately struck by the colorful, hard-edged abstraction, but once you take a closer look, you'll start to realize that there are pieces of inspiration coming from all different aspects of his life, from personal experiences and pop culture, comics, human figures, plants, animals, all kinds of different things that have been reduced to their simplest form in line and shape and reorganized into these abstracted compositions.
As far as color goes, I think he's my favorite colorist in the city. No one else paints like him. He really tries to take painting to the next step.
Thanks so much for joining us today as we walked through Texas Emerging Volume 1. The exhibition will be on view for 4 weeks starting July 24th through the end of August, with opportunities to view the works in person and meet the artists by appointment. For more information on the artists or individual works available for sale, please visit foltzgallery.com.